All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live webinar here. I'm here with Dave Hansen. Dave,
Woo!
Wednesday.
Hey, Trevor. Yeah, thanks for having me on and setting this up.
Yeah, of course. Well, hey, as more people come on into it, let's put a little timer up so people can come on in. I will see everybody soon. All right, Dave, we are back. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook. Dave, how is your day going today?
Excellent. Early start, juggling a lot of stuff right now. It's really exciting, though. So glad to be joining you today. Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah. Awesome, Dave. Well, welcome everybody that's watching live and that's going to be watching later. As you have comments, things, you're welcome to put it in the comments. Pal is our marketing gal. She'll be putting the comments up on the back end as we go through. So, Dave, for those that don't know what you do and who you are, can you let the world know what you love and what you do?
Sure. Well, I'll start with what I love. A huge fan of baseball, rock hounding, blacksmithing, my family, God, all that kind of stuff. But that's not what you're really asking. What you're really asking is what is ClientTether and why did you drag me into a webinar Wednesday morning, right? So, so ClientTether is the #1 technology in franchising, right? But the way that we got there is, and what we do is important. We're founded by a franchisor to solve technology issues that every franchise brand has. We help people to automate their lead follow-up. We're a CRM platform. If you're a service-oriented business, we are a proposal, payment, QuickBooks, online review, automation request, nurturing, referral gathering platform. That there's no one that can follow up with leads better. So there's my brag, and I'm not going to do that anymore today. But that's what we do. But we're also the top FranDev CRM also. So we're the only platform in the world that can do both well in the same platform. And so we have massive clients to emerging clients using us to help sell more units. And usually we help people double or triple their lead conversion rates when they roll out our platform. And that's not smoke. That's just go to our website and look at the testimonials. So, but we love what we do because franchising is awesome. Like they need our help. They have low budgets for tech. Everyone thinks franchisors are loaded. They're not. They have skeleton crews. We all know it. So as you're helping them get their stories and their videos and everything, you know that they don't have the 10 people they wish they had to get all the marketing done. So that's why they love you too, right? Because you take the load off, and that's what we do with the sales tech.
Love it, Dave. Love that you guys are awesome. A tiny bit about FranchiseFilming. Tiny bit about me first. I'm a soccer referee. Been reffing since I was 13. Been filming since I was 13. Back when the VHS camera were on the shoulders, I was this 13-year-old trying to walk, run, and film stuff. FranchiseFilming, we help franchisors win more sales with our monthly marketing videos, whether it's through FranDev, consumer, anything like that. But you guys aren't here to hear about that. You guys are here to learn about why leads are ghosting you and how video and follow up and whatever that is can help them from not ghosting you, from disappearing to reappearing. So Dave, I want to level set here what we're going to talk about, and then I want to have a live conversation with you. So what we're going to learn today: speed to lead, why fast response times matter and how to optimize them. 2, the power of video, how to use video effectively to grab attention and build trust. And then Dave, if you go ahead and read that other bit, if you can see on the bottom.
Of course. Yeah, naturally. So reviving cold leads. There's so many out there. How do we help you get your Lazarus leads to come back to life? And then we're going to talk about storytelling that converts. How do you present your franchise from a buyer's perspective? Because if you don't know, we're going to talk about that. But there's a reason why people, they respond to and engage with that type of content better than the chest beating, hi, I'm the CEO type video. Those are good too, but there's a better way to do it. So, Trevor's the expert. We'll let him tell the story.
Awesome. Well, Dave, so I want to first begin out with the first thing that someone's going to walk away with, right? I want people to be able to walk away with things they can write down, send to their leader, be like, this is what we need to change. Definable insights that people can learn and implement. So Dave, speed to lead. Why was that one of the first things that you wanted to talk about?
Oh man. Well, because I've been in a lot of different industries that most of them follow a universally understood playbook for sales that optimizes lead conversions. Franchising generally doesn't follow the playbook. They're still in like a 1987 playbook. So it has shocked me and continues to surprise me when I talk to sophisticated or smart groups of people that say things like, oh, we follow up with our leads within 4 hours or within 24 hours. And I'm like, you're spending $257 or more per lead. How on earth is this not an obsession, right? Every other industry, doesn't matter their lead spend, 5 minutes or less is the general rule of thumb, but there's more to it than, right? So and I'll just share this, like general universally understood data published in Harvard Business Review, 1 million data point study about sales and lead follow-up. If you wait more than 5 minutes, if you wait 10 minutes to follow up with your lead instead of 5 minutes, your likelihood to contact them drops by 10x. 10x. What does that do to your marketing ROI? What does it do to your sales pipeline? Right? Like, but that's not the only thing. There are a lot of other dynamics that have changed. Channels through which people engage. They're not just engaging in email or a phone call. That most people want to text now. So you've got to be omni-channel with your follow-up sequence and fast. And you want to automate that because humans stink at trying to automatically follow up. They're not looking in their inbox waiting for a lead all the time, but that's kind of what a lot of platforms depend upon. Or they do email drips. Awesome. 1998 called it, wants its technology back, right? That's all that a lot of people do. So you have to be omni-channel, you have to be fast. And that's how people can improve their marketing ROI and talk to more candidates and filter more people out of the pipeline that don't belong there. It's really how you accelerate the sales machine.
Yeah, Dave, and you mentioned about $257 for the cost of a lead is about the average here. So you're saying, hey, the minute a lead comes in, you're saying, people listening, you should stop what you're doing and either manually follow up or have something that triggers a text message, because texts have what, a 98% open rate still?
Yeah, with 90+% open rate within 2 minutes, they're all read. So, and that's actually the magic of the sequence. If you don't mind, actionable advice here. And
yeah,
I see Ashley's got a great question. We can maybe pop into some of those questions too. But if you want to optimize your conversion rate, and this might help you answer the question too, Ashley, immediate email with a video message. We're going to talk about video today, but that video message from the person who's trying to reach them. So if it's an SDR or an entry-level person before they talk to the VP of marketing or sales or whatever, whoever's in the funnel, right? Whoever's calling them first, video of them, 15 seconds. Hi, can't wait to talk to you. This is so exciting. You want to buy a franchise? Oh, it's amazing. This is a great model. You can, create generational wealth. I'm going to reach out and try to schedule time to talk, blah, blah, blah. 15 seconds. If you're a service provider, right, you're a brand, it should be maybe the owner of the painting company or the franchise owner or the estimator who's going to reach out. Hey, can't wait to come and take a look at your project. Like, it's so easy to do this. Use Vidyard, use Loom, use your phone. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that's embedded in that email, and it'll triple your engagement rate of that email. A scheduling link, that's step one, immediate. So if they fill out your form at 1 a.m. on Friday night, Saturday morning, they should get that email. Text messaging should be automated, but within business hours, because there's an expectation you'll respond. So text them within a minute of that email. Generationally, people under the age of 40, they prefer to text. So you want to make sure you're covering that channel. It should identify you, your brand, give them a scheduling link, and also an appropriate opt-out so you're staying TCPA compliant. And then after that, 2 minutes later, you call them. That 2 minute time frame is because everyone reads text within about 2 minutes, and your answer rate goes up 40% on that call. Now, if people say, hey, I need some time to review things, if they fill out your form and they're asking you about something that's a general inquiry, unless you've sent them a bunch of stuff to review beforehand, my recommendation is don't do that. Have the conversation first, send the things to follow up after the call, because if you can have that call first, your likelihood to close the deal, if there's a deal to be closed, is about 70%, 65 to 70%. It's the number one predictor of that is who has the conversation first. So hopefully those are a couple of actionable bullets that you can implement today. You don't need to be a client of mine. You just need to build some automation around that, and you can you can see your lead conversion rates jump.
Yeah, and Dave, you're saying some fantastic things. And guys, as we kind of go along, and if you see my eyes, I'm putting some stuff on the banners as we kind of go through here. So as things come to mind, please put it in the comments chat. We will do our best to answer them live. And for those that are watching later, please feel free to email us if something comes up afterwards. So, Dave, it's if you respond faster, the first one to have the meeting, you said the success rate is how much higher for the first one to contact?
Well, it can be between, depends on the industry, right? And the speed of service needed. But in like a FranDev environment, you're probably like, up north of 50, probably 60% likely to win the deal if you're the first person to have a meaningful discussion. In service industries, like, like plumbing, HVAC, it's like sometimes 90+%. It's like whoever just called me first, you're getting the job as long as your prices aren't ridiculous, right? So it just depends. But it's north of 50, usually 60 to 70%.
Perfect. And this actually is perfect. Justin, going to our second topic about video, right? If you follow up, but there's nothing to engage, humanize, attract, inspire someone, then you're kind of just running the marathon halfway and then just kind of never finishing it. So Justin asked, and he said, you have 3 to 5 seconds to grab attention, whether it's on a website, whether it's on a video. Nothing is more powerful than a video. No one believes what brands have to say. Forbes says 4 out of 5 humans don't believe what the brand says, but they believe what somebody they don't even know says about the brand. Could be a franchisee, customer, but if the CEO or the leadership says it, like they'll watch and they'll listen, but it's that validation. It's that where were they before your brand, especially in FranDev, versus after, and showing that, right? They hated their 9 to 5. Now they love that they can control their destiny.
Yeah. And by the way, the same rules apply for engagement through email or text, right? If you're sending an email, that 3 to 5 second rule is the subject line, right? Your subject lines have to be engaging. You have to embed their first name in there. That increases open rates 20%. But videos, it's 100% true. And using videos, effective videos like Trevor's talking about in emails, 3x engagement rate in your email. If you're using effective video above the fold of the email in the preview window, like it's got to be top and front and center. And make sure it's engaging. Use GIFs if you can. Have their video icon or thumbnail be animated. Like there are tricks to this that are so easy. And there are tools you can use today that are even free that can get some basic stuff in there, but you need quality stuff because after they click on it, if it's garbage content, that first 3 to 5 seconds, you don't engage them with a hook, they're gone, right?
Yeah, the worst thing a brand can do, and I used to make this error, is have your logo in the first 3 seconds. Like there's a stat that if somebody can get through the first 5 seconds, they are 60% more likely to watch the other 10 seconds and the other 10 seconds and the other 10 seconds, right? So having something that hooks them at the front is vital. One of the reasons why I love this space, and for those that don't know, I came from like weddings. I filmed over 300 weddings in like my lifetime. The story, the love, the emotion. I'm taking that love for story and I'm saying, franchisors, why aren't you telling stories? Like you change people's lives. Like how are you not making videos about franchisees that hated their life? Now they love their life. The climax of how they came across the world with a backpack with $2 to their name, and now they're a multi-unit owner. Like Harvard says that 95% of us buy based on emotion, not facts. So if you're spitting facts all the time to your leads and facts, and we won this award, and look at our CEO, and we opened our 10th location, like it doesn't, it doesn't hit, right, Dave?
No, not at all. Not at all. And in fact, I learned something from you years ago, Trevor. We've known each other for 5 years now, 6 years almost. So we've known each other for quite a while. But something I learned from Trevor, because he's a master storyteller. Like you build beautiful videos, but you evoke emotion with the videos. But it's just the structure of having that intro reel and it's always told from the perspective of the person that is the most similar to the buyer, right? So first lesson is it can't be the founder. Like the founder video is not as inspiring early in the funnel, right? Early in the sales cycle. People need to feel like this is a fit for me. These people are like me. This process is applicable to me. It's all about them. And so you have to tell the story from the perspective of the franchise owner. If they're looking to sell a franchise, right, then the franchise owners are the people telling the story because they're most like the hero. The hero is the lead, right? And so you do a masterful job of that, but it's that person talking. As soon as you click on the video, it's, yeah, I can't believe how much this has changed my life. My children, my husband, even my dogs will be forever impacted by the decision to buy this brand. And they start crying, right? Like you get crazy video footage. I love how you evoke those emotions, and it's not fake. It's real. And if that's the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video, people are going to be like glued, and they're just going to watch the next thing that pops up, which is like, handyman connection, or like whatever the intro is. Hey, this is, we're talking about handyman connection here. Boom. And then back to the story. Hey, I'm Dave. I just think the structure matters so much because that, like you said, that hook is going to get them, like the subject line of an email, to continue on and get to the meat of what you want them to see.
And I remember, one of our very first franchisors in this space, we were talking to a franchisee, and I sat her down and I started asking her things, and the leadership was all, I won't say the brand name. They're all behind me saying, no. Here's like a script. No. They don't know what to say. Like franchisees don't know how to just say this. And I go, oh, I'm nobody. I don't know anything about franchising yet, but I go around, I'm like, let me do this. And if you don't like it, I'll come back out on my dime and I'll reshoot the entire thing. And I started asking her things about how she felt, where she was, who she is now. Found out she was homeless. Like, didn't know where her next meal was going to come from. And now she owns five locations and is thriving. Like, what a story. So part of the content and part of the lead gen is you have to meet them where they are, right? If somebody wants a demo and then write back, text them, call them. Same with video, meet them where they are. So if someone is a mom, you may want to show content around how stay-at-home moms, that when their kids go off to college, how they can be franchise owners. If somebody wants to own like multi-units, you show content only around how people can sell and own and have 5 or 10, unit. So it's all about making sure that the number one thing you do is that you make content and you meet them where they are and inspire them. It's the number one thing that we do is inspire someone watching to talk to your salespeople.
We've got a great question. If you don't mind, Trevor, it just came in from Nicole. So this is the perpetual argument, right? Of and her question's about balancing automation and personalization. And I think we could probably tie this into video as well, but I'll run on it from my perspective, Trevor. But when you're trying to automate engagement with people, it's really, we've all gotten it. We've gotten the lame LinkedIn engagement. We've gotten like, I see that. They always start with that, and then they pull 2 things from your profile. I see that you went to BYU. I see that we both like technology. And then they're like, you want to buy my crap? So the personalization is really critical. One, Nicole, you have to be able to contextualize your automations based upon the channel they come through. That's mission critical. A lot of platforms struggle with that. It's kind of like one size fits all. Everyone comes into the same big automation funnel, and so the automations are never quite right contextually. So you want to be able to know like where your lead's coming from, and by lead channel, you want to have a specific follow-up for them. For example, if I keep talking about FranDev, but let's talk about home services for a minute. I'm a home service brand. I get leads out of Facebook. They're way higher in the funnel, right? So I'm going to talk to them a little bit differently. Like, hey, Steve, thanks for reaching out to us from Facebook. It's always important to call that lead source. Steve, tell me a little bit about your project. How can we help you out? Like, so you want to personalize it with, tokens and things. So, you're saying their name, but not overdo it. I've gotten messages and I get people feedback. I get these automated messages. I'm like, hey, I'm not interested. And just so you know, you over tokenized your email. Because it's like, hi, Dave, I can't wait to talk to you. I can, I love people from Utah. Like they start saying these things. I'm like, oh, token vomit. So you want to make it feel natural. Make it shorter than you think it should be. Read your messages as if your friend was sending it to you, right into a buddy in college. That's kind of how I tell people. A familiar but not yet like unprofessional tone. I'm just trying to, and then everything should be contextualized, and everything should be pretty brief. Like, what do they care about? You write stuff from the context of what do they want. If somebody's filling out a lead form with me, I know they want to know how to fix their sales funnel. So I'm going to share insights with them that are valuable. Even if they don't buy from me, I want them to improve their flow. So I give them tips, or I share a playbook, or, if you go with the hand open, like I'm giving you something rather than trying to grab something from people. I know those are some basic tips, but contextualize, personalize, and then make sure the cadence is natural. Don't send an email, a text, and a call in 10 seconds. Spread it out so it feels like a human could do it. And then reach out to them at optimal times of the day, certain content or, certain channels. They're better times of the day to reach people. So that's what I'd say, Nicole. How do you balance it and personalize it, and also write it as if you're writing to a buddy? So your voice sounds natural. So write it like you. Don't write it like, don't let your marketing department write your messaging for you. If it's your automation, it should be your voice. So take the time to make it sound like you.
Love that. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, and the same thing, how you want to humanize the texting, a humanized outreach, the same thing with video, right? It's we go back to people want to work with people that they like, and video makes it so you can like the brand, you can like the salesperson. One of my favorite things for sales people to have is an about us video about themselves that has nothing to do with work. And that's literally in your signature. So now, I actually like this sales guy. He has a family, kids, all that. So as we kind of go down this path, it's all about humanizing your outreach, humanizing your video. If you feel like your leads are ghosting you, then really look at how you are reaching out to them. And if your video content is meeting them where they are. If you were to show 5 people your videos, will they be engaged and inspired? You might not like the answer that you get, right? That's the best feedback that we can get from all that. So let's go on to the third thing, Dave. As we go down this path, we want to get, and guys, please, as you're watching, leave a comment, LinkedIn, YouTube, StreamYard. What are you gathering? What are you kind of absorbing so far as we go through this? That would really help us gauge and drive the conversation. So reviving cold leads. Dave, I'm sure people are asking, what is a Lazarus lead?
Yeah. So, if you know, right? Like, great story in the New Testament, guy Lazarus. I'm oversimplifying, not trying to cheapen the story, but Lazarus dies, friend of Jesus. He comes late he's been dead for 4 days, which in their tradition means like spirit's gone. He can't be revived. He's dead. And Jesus revives him, right? And he comes back to life. So that I don't actually call leads dead leads anymore. I call them Lazarus leads because they come back to life. And it also sounds like Lazarus lead versus dead lead. I just think it's more catchy. So the trick is, and I had a brand once that they were a new client, and I was telling them, like, you need to create some lead revival, some lead rehash campaigns. These are valuable resources. You spent $200 per contact to get them. It's a sunk cost. What have you got to lose? Let's go after them. And they're like, it doesn't work. Dave, come on. Like, these are dead leads. And I was like, okay, game on. Like, never tell me something you can't do, because I'll be like, let me prove you wrong. It's just wired in me. So, like, get me leads that are at least 6 months dead, and I'll help you build a campaign, and let's just see what happens, shall we? And they're like, sure. And within 60 days, they had a better close rate on their dead leads than the industry average on FranDev leads. Not to mention that they also had like 10% of their leads that were in the campaign were in a stage that was beyond an intro call. They were looking at FDDs. They were 10% of them had been rejected because they couldn't get the financing in order. Like, the reality is, omni-channel, true value campaigns. Every lead that filled out a form, they took their time to put their personal information in a form, and most people are a little distrusting of that process now. And they hit the submit button right? That means that they cared enough to do that at some point, and something changed, right? But you don't know what changed. That's the tricky part about all this. So you need to nurture them. And my recommendation is have campaigns that address the top 5 to 7 questions or concerns people have, right? Fear is, if you're in FranDev, one of the number one concerns people have is just fear and insecurity of losing jobs, losing insurance. Like becoming an entrepreneur is a very hard journey, but that's almost number one for everybody. But then it's, well, financing. What about the day in the life? Is this a good fit for me? Am I going to do a good job here, right? So all of these things are elements that they should be implementing, that you should be implementing as a separate communication, maybe a video. I highly recommend video nurturing or curated video content that addresses these issues. And you should be addressing those 5 to 7 issues in a nurture campaign and nudging people to action. Gently saying, if you want to re-engage, happy, here's a link, let's book some time. And if you're not ready, no sweat. I'll continue to share some tips that will help you become ready to be a rock star entrepreneur or franchise owner, right? Like, that those sorts of campaigns, mix them up, have emails and texts, as long as it's okay to text them. Then you'll see re-engagement. And I've had people come back to me and say, Dave, 7 years later, this guy responded to my email and now he's a client. I mean,
7 years later.
Yeah, it's true.
And if you heard, my doorbell just went off. So I don't know if you heard that hint. I wasn't making a face at what you were saying. So as the doorbell went off, I'm like, I don't know, Pat, we're doing a live stream. Thank you. Okay. So yeah. So Dave, I mean, it's reviving those cold leads. Like, you're right. That's already a sunk cost. You already spent the time on the lead to follow up originally. Why not try something different with a short message, meeting them where they are, and things can change. I know me 6 months ago, I don't want the same things I want now. Right. So being able to re-engage with them the way you guys do it, with a video reminding them of who they can become, especially in franchising, or on the consumer side, maybe they never hired mosquito company to come out and fix the bug problem that they're still having. And that lead that you resend out to them, go, I still haven't booked Mosquito Joe, or I got to do that. Right. So just reminding them what they originally wanted 6 months ago is a great point.
Oh yeah. Or before and after. If you're a service brand, before and after pictures are king. Customer experiences, customer testimonials. Like, there's so much you can interlace between all these 5 to 7 like value props that people maybe have concerns about. Like, sometimes it's just hearing the voice of somebody who feels like their neighbor. That helps a lot.
Yep. And you made me want to say something, Dave, about their neighbor, right? It's once again, 4 out of 5 people trust Susie from Michigan, Bobby from California. But if you and I say it, Dave, it will like work and it will absorb, and it's needed, right? But it doesn't like, oh, I believe them. And that's what taking the follow-up, then having the validation. Someone else has to always talk about the great job that your brand does. Oh, yeah. Always. It's that validation. Awesome. So Dave, the final thing.
Yeah, I hope you'll lead this one, Trevor, since you're like the master of this. Like, how does storytelling convert? Help us talk through presenting the. We've talked about this 3 or 4 times, but presenting it from somebody's the buyer's perspective versus the brand's perspective.
Yeah. So first off, Forbes says that if you just do this, if you just stop speaking and you show someone's change, how they were here versus there. Hopefully my Wi-Fi didn't just go out. If it did, I'm back. Okay. If you just do this, you'll get 20 times more sales just by telling a story. Forbes says, look it up, 20 times more sales if you just tell a story over and over and over and over. Right. So, we don't deserve anyone's attention. Right. The minute a lead goes dead, or the minute someone didn't book with us, or the minute they go dead, I must have not done the right thing to engage, inspire them, and show them what we can do. Right. So the 3 videos that every franchise brand needs, the ones that really come to us, most of them say, my franchise leads are not getting back to us. Right. And they don't have franchisee testimonials of where someone was before your brand, telling a story. but not just getting a green screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Visual. Someone says, I love working at the job and seeing my staff, film them with their staff. If they say, I love that I can go camp with my family in the woods now because I own my destiny, follow them in the woods and film them enjoying life, s'mores around the campfire, right? The visualness is where I think a lot of franchisors miss out. Is they just get a bunch of talking heads and there's no visual story, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is when CMOs reach out to us, especially in the service space, hey, my franchisees, I feel like I'm not servicing my franchisees in the best way. What content what videos should they have, right? And I go on their services page, right? And there's no content of video of the services that they offer, whether it's mosquito signage company. How powerful is that if I wanted to hire a company to paint my fence and I go on their website and there's a video of customers talking about how they were on time, on budget, and they did it right? Right? It's that validation that's going to help move that along, right? And those before and after photos, Dave, yes. What was the fence like before versus after, right? And the third thing is a founder video, right? Making sure that you humanize the franchise. You gotta humanize the franchise. One of the best things you could do is tell the story of the leadership, but you can't just do that. As we talked about, Dave, you need validation from other people. And I cringe, I'll say that differently. You'd be shocked at how many franchisors say, oh, my franchisees can't talk on camera. Like our customers won't want to do that. And it's like, well, we just did it 500 times last year. That's what we do is we do the scheduling and the logistics to make sure the stories can actually be captured.
Oh yeah. Can I share something? Like one of the first videos I ever saw of you, and I forget which brand it was. You'll know this. And Kate, by the way, Kate's asking awesome questions. And I'm sharing a couple of examples. You're actually talking about as I'm typing. I'm like, oh, this is perfect alignment between us. Asking the question like what types of videos should we use? There's an intro of me saying, hi, I'm Kate. I want to talk to you, blah, 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 right? But then what other videos should we be using in the flow? But one of the first videos I ever saw that you guys had made when I looked you up, I think right after we met each other, was there was a franchisee that like the intro part of it is them like in their backyard, kids on the trampoline, dogs running around, they're laughing with their wife, and it's real. It's not like it's staged.
It's real.
And they're goofing off on the trampoline with their kids. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, like I started having an emotional response of I need to spend more time on the trampoline with my kids. And I was like, oh, it's working. This is a freaking good video. And so visualizing, because the people, and I'll speak to Kate's question, right? She's in FranDev. She works with a print brand, right? People that are looking to get into that business, they're not looking into it because like, I freaking love wide format print. That's not, they're looking at getting into franchising because they want more independence. They want a better financial future for them and their next generation. They want more time at home with their kids, or maybe they just want to get in their RV and travel around the world with their spouse. Like, I don't know what they want, but it's not a job. And so the thing that you're showing here is like, what's the end result that person wanted? And you're showing that first, and it's just a hook and it's an emotional response. And so if you don't mind, maybe can you share some additional ideas of what other types of videos should franchise development groups be using to evoke that type of response from their leads?
Yeah. So Kate, that's a great thing to ask. So Kate, first things first is, a lot of people that want to be a franchisee, that want to go in business for themselves, not by themselves, right? They think, can I do it? Mm-hmm. Will I get support? I mean, I was on set with a brand years ago, and this mother-son said, I got more support in a month than I did all throughout school. I learned more in a month of training than I did going to college. I'm like, oh, that's a line. All right, I think we can cut on that soundbite. So it's also about how can you overcome the 5 to 10 to 15 things that's going to halt the sale. And that's that funnel that Dave spoke about is there's usually 10 or so things that stop a sale, right? So, friend of signage company. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Franchisee validation, right? Going to a job site, having a franchisee say, look, we get support. I was trained on how to do this. I was giving leadership skills. So I'm actually not the one installing the sign. I'm leading the team. I'm inspiring the team. And, you know, there's a lot of other ideas that I have for the signage company. But just tell a story is what I would assume is not happening, at least at the top of the funnels. That's what's going to make sure that lead goes really far. And you got to engage them and inspire them so they think about your brand when they go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And they think about you when they wake up, because you've evoked that emotion of, oh, if Bobby did that with his family, he was hating his job a year ago. Now he loves his job. He hangs out with his family a lot, and he's going to pass it down to his son. I have a son. It's that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of their thoughts, I mean, you talked about testimonials before, but you can't share too many testimonials. You really can't. Inside of a lead nurturing funnel, if somebody's gone a little cold or they're not engaged right away, you're never going to go wrong by sharing the story of somebody else. But think about the fears. Think about the day. Like, I wouldn't do this too early. Like, it's really help them overcome their fear. Testimony, like a real showcase of someone who was probably like them and had a real success story and is in love with what they're doing now. But then something that's also going to show the day. What's a day in the life like a purview? They don't know. Like, I've been a desk jockey in an accounting department for 15, 20 years. What would it actually be like to run a business? I don't know. Like, and there's all these unknown fears. So start taking away the unknowns, like things that you think they probably have no idea about, and do that in video. Show them, don't tell them. And, show them the story, don't tell them the story. Right. But that's the secret. That's the secret to success with video follow-up from my perspective.
Yeah. And you can't assume that people watched the video unless you Zoom screen share, which I actually recommend at least one video. Assume they didn't watch it. Like, unless it's such a story and you can see that they watched it to the end. I see so many brands just get one franchisee video, one this, and then, it's not working again. But imagine if you could literally videos throughout every touch point. So you're the only brand that's engaging, inspiring, validation, truth. I mean, imagine what that could do for your sales cycle if every touch point is overcoming. Can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Are they truthful? Can my life get better? Is this worth taking the risk? And all the other things that stops a sale, right?
Right. And then imagine automating all that. The tricky part with lead nurturing, guys, is that unless you have a tool that does it for you, you don't have time. You don't have time to follow up on the leads you got 3 days ago effectively, right? So the key here is get the right content, but also automate the delivery, whatever channel that is, whatever tool you've got. Email's okay. Text is king right now. So make sure that you're using tools that can deliver the content in an automated way so that it's creating scale. Like we got Kate asking questions, right? We want to magnify Kate times 5. So we do that with technology and automation, using her voice, using effective videos. And now what happens though is Kate is spending more and more of her time at the bottom of the sales funnel, like having meaningful conversations, moving people through the flow, getting them ready for discovery day, getting them to have a successful discovery, introducing them to finance partners. That's what Kate wants to spend her time doing, not chasing willy-nilly all these leads that are coming in and not really knowing how to engage. People ghost because they're not inspired. Leads ghost because they feel like it's not a match. They've self-selected out. Or leads ghost because somebody did a better job of following up with them, so they're moving forward in somebody else's funnel, not yours. So, or they got afraid and just disappeared and said, I can't do this. Like, whatever the reason is, that's why you have no idea. You have to address all those, right? Address all the key reasons people drop out of the flow and automate that, because if you're not inspiring or engaging, you're kind of cooked, as far as that's what my kids would say anyway. You're cooked.
Cooked. I like that. And we're going to show one final thing here. How do you navigate people saying they need to review before scheduling a time?
Yeah.
The thing that you have to think about is, are you giving them content and things to engage with? Like, why are they saying that? There must be a reason. So having them consume and engage and watch content, not just selling your service, but the people that went through your service, about your brand, about how can they engage, consume, right? Dave, I mean, what would you say as our final thing here? When people say I need a review, what's actually being said there, right?
Well, I have a question, right? And I know Ashley brought this up. What that makes me think, at least I'm intuiting, is that we're maybe delivering a lot of content up front, right? So if somebody's saying, hey, I'm interested in your brand, you're like, cool, here's a 40-page packet about information. And then they might be like, well, hold on, I don't want to talk to you, and I've got to review this encyclopedia you just sent me. That's the wrong flow. That's like a late 90s, early 2000 approach. What people want now is digestible, simple content. But your whole point in sharing the content is to get them to have the call. The call is where you convert. It's not in an email. It's not in them reading a packet. I was talking to a guy at a conference, kind of an old Dodger in this or Codger. Sorry, I'm a Dodger fan. That came to my mind. But he was saying, like, well, if they're not going to open that packet and read it, then they're not worth my time. And I thought, oh, you suck. Like, your brand is suffering because and I'm not trying to be mean here, but like, that's like an 80s strategy, right? But like, yeah, you want people who are going to engage, but bear in mind, they're engaging with 3 to 5 different people. If they're serious about franchising, they probably are talking to 3 to 5 brands right now, or 2 to 3 brands and maybe a broker or 2, right? So these people they're engaged. And if they see that you're putting up roadblocks, you're making it hard to engage and get info, they're going to go down the path of least resistance, where someone's helping to coach them through the flow, not throwing up roadblocks and expecting them to climb over walls to get info. So you got to make it easy. But also, if somebody doesn't want to talk to you right away, these things happen, but you need to find out why. So just engage with them in a meaningful way. Ask them questions. If they're going to engage in you a text, they don't want to have a phone call. Personality things sometimes. Then engage in the channel that they're willing to talk. If it's on social, get on their LinkedIn and chat with them there. I had a deal that came through that was somebody who engaged 100% on LinkedIn. I've never had that before. It's always like we move to email at some point and have Zooms, but just engage them where they're engaging you. That's why omnichannel is so important.
And Dave, if you see my eyes, I'm prepping for our next thing. And just let's take a quick pause here. If anyone wants to hear more about FranchiseFilming, how we can help, visit us at FranchiseFilming.com, or you could text video to 88500. I also have a free newsletter on LinkedIn. If you go on my LinkedIn, I post weekly free tips about how to do video right. And Dave, if someone, before we launch our surprise, if someone wants to hear more, learn more, hear more about what you do, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, me and our team. So you guys might know Keith, Tiffany, Ryan, myself. You can catch us on LinkedIn, or go to ClientTether.com. And if you fill out the form on there, you'll experience the power of our platform in about 30 seconds. So you'll see exactly what we're trying to recommend you do to optimize your leads. But a member of the team will get in touch with you in 30 seconds or less. So feel free to reach out at ClientTether.com, or just look me up, Dave Hansen, on LinkedIn, and you'll find me. I'm there quite a bit.
All right. So Dave, guys, are we ready to launch the surprise here as we begin to fade out the webinar here?
100%. Yeah. I've been kind of itching to do this for a while.
So we're playing some music. Do you hear that? All right. So Dave, for those that are watching, Dave and I have been planning something, what seems like a year of planning a surprise. So Dave, I'm going to share my screen, but what should people be looking out for as I share my screen? What are we doing? What should they look out for?
Well, so there's this massive need in the industry, the franchising industry, for service brands to get content, networking, training, experiential things where they can get content that's relevant to them. It's been hard for them to find it at a lot of the other events. So Trevor and I, on a hike to Stewart Falls, outside of Sundance, Utah, had this idea that we need to create an experience for service brand executives to come and get content, network, learn, develop their brands. And so we're launching the Service Franchise Summit in Midway, Utah this summer, June 11th through the 13th.
Yep, and I'm sharing my screen, Dave. So guys, if you want to learn more about the Service Franchise Summit, you guys can actually visit servicefranchisesummit.com. And guys, this is something that it's been all we've been doing is figuring out how we can provide an in-person experience that's different from every other event out there. So, Dave, this is for service franchisors.
Right.
This
Service
is
franchisors.
Yep. And guys, we love the friend dev teams, but as of now, this is geared towards CMOs, C-suites, and operations. And we are limiting this to 50 amazing humans to be able to have adventures with us to go learn in Midway, Utah. This came from how can we leave our dress shoes at our house, and how can we bring these shoes so we can learn and hike and learn from other people just like us in the beautiful nature of Salt Lake City. It's 50% outside adventures, zip lining, hiking, not river rafting because we're not near that, I realize. But Dave, anything else here? I'm really excited to launch this into the space.
Yeah, I mean, when I talk to folks, and Trevor and I talked to a lot of people about this, but the most meaningful parts of most of the events that people attend are the ones where they're networking with each other, they're answering questions, they're huddling around tables. So we're facilitating a lot of time where it's peer-to-peer engagement in these kind of huddles, almost like a mini mastermind groups. And also riding razors in the mountains, zip lining on one of the longest zip lines in North America. It's going to be super fun and intense. We're building mutual experiences that we can lean upon together. And you're outside of the conference, you're going to be able to continue to engage with each other, but before and after, actually. So it's really designed around what people need in the industry. Hope you guys will join us, share it with your friends. We're announcing it today, but we've already got people interested in showing up. Before we announced this. So looking forward to seeing everybody there in the mountains of Utah.
Guys, once again, Service Franchise Summit. If you want to learn more about this, go ahead and chat Dave and I, or you can email hello@servicefranchisesummit.com. Really excited to launch this and to serve a different part of the space. Once again, CMOs, C-suite, and ops teams. This is for you to learn with people like you in an environment that is unlike any other, where we will be outside having amazing adventures. Hashtag leave your nice shoes at home. Hashtag bring some sunscreen.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, we can't wait to see you guys there. Trevor, thanks for having me on today. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys. Thank you. Until next time, everybody, I will see you at the next show, and we'll see you in Midway, Utah.
See you guys.